Hey all, we're back at it after lunch, and I'm gonna walk you through the whole workflow to set up your ground truthing points. So if you could get this stuff done by class on the 26th, being Thursday, I think, that would be awesome. So let's get started. Here's a little workflow of the things that we need to get done. So the first part is figuring out which point sets you need to work with. So we talked about that in class, but I made a little division scheme that I think will help out with that. So in theory, for each zone, you have 3 years, right? 42, 62, and 95. And one person digitized the agricultural fields and edited the impervious layer for one of those years. So the other two people in your group need to divide into sets of 2 point groups, 1 through 50 and then 51 through 100. So here I just set it up like P1 and then, or sorry, P2 here, and then the two people who are going to ground truth the 100 points in that year for that zone are P3 and P1. So I hope that you guys were able to figure that out amongst yourselves. And if not, I also made a little spreadsheet that I put on a Google Sheet, I guess, and sent it to all of you. So if you could just put in your name in these boxes for the ones that you're going to do. So for instance, Jenny did Zone 7, 1942. And because there's only two of us, I'm going to do both of her point sets and ground truth hers. So points 1 through 50 and 51 through 100. So I'll just write in here, Will, and then Will. And I'd like you all to do the same on that sheet, just so that at the end we can then have a full list of who's doing what and make sure that we didn't miss anything. So Jenny, you're going to do these 4 cells when you get there. And everyone else, I think you'll be good with that. So I think it would be great if you, before you started doing the rest of the workflow, if you could just go into this Google Sheet that I sent you in an email and fill in your name for the 2 sets that you're going to do. Cool. All right, moving on. The first thing you guys are going to need to do after you figured out the points is get the point features that Bill and I made for you guys. And they're in a geodatabase that's on Splinter. And the first thing you need to do is just download that out of Splinter, because as we remembered the other day, it doesn't work very well to work just like out of Splinter itself. So I'm going to show you how to do that. So you pull up a File Explorer window, and in your quick access thing, you type in / Splinter data. Hop in there, and this is where the data set is. It's Vermont, Towns, Middlebury, land cover. This should be pretty familiar. It's where a lot of the other things that we've done are in. And in here, there should be a lab02.gdb. And what you need to do is just drag this guy into your documents folder, just like we did the other day. So I'm going to do that right now. Plop it in there. Confirm that it's there, lab02.gdb. Cool. So after we've got that out of Splinter and onto our local drive, let's fire up ArcGIS Pro, and then we're going to connect to that folder. So what I'm going to do is I'm working on that same computer, so I still have my lab1 in my documents folder that has an APRX file in it. Doesn't really matter what you work out of so much for the actual file. All that really matters is that you save the actual files that you come out with, the point layers, into the GDB that's in your documents folder. So however you want to do it, just fire up ArcGIS Pro. Wait for it a little bit. Shouldn't take too long now that we're working out of our C drive instead of our W drive. Also, I hope that you can hear me a little better today. I tried to adjust the volume, make it a little bit louder, but I guess we'll see how that works. All right, cool. So now ArcGIS is open. It's going to come up with the things that I had open last time. I'm going to deal with the things that are on my screen in a little bit, but the first thing I'm going to do is get to that folder, that GDB that we just dropped into our documents folder. So I open catalog, and then I'm going to click on the drop down for folders, and I'm going to actually go and add a folder connection. And it should be pretty easy. What we need to do is from the computer, go to the documents, documents, yep. But we might have to delete, so interesting. Okay, so we have to connect to the actual folder itself. So if you go just computer here and then in here, click on documents just so that it comes up in this, then you can hit OK. And now we've connected to our documents folder. Drop that down and look, there's our lab02.gdb. And here's a set of 7 different point layers. So they correspond to like truth 1, truth 2, truth 3 through 7, and it's to your zone. So I'm doing Cornwall. So I'm going to drag my T7 in on here, and look, we have 100 randomly dispersed points within the zone that I'm working with. And I can go up here and open that attribute table, and look what we've got. We've got 100 points. CID is just like the zone name, so we're in zone 7. Zone code is, so zone, this is for when Bill and I are going to put things back together. We've got 7th zone, first point, and so on and so forth. And then land cover type is all going to say null, but I think if I click it, look at that. We have a drop-down menu, and that has all of the land cover types that we talked about in class. And I divided them into 3, so nat, meaning natural wooded, natural water, open surface water, and then imp, impervious, mining, building, turf, rock, nat, again, and then cult is the last one. So that's cool, and we're going to get back to that in a minute. But for now, what I want you guys to do is, so we figured out in that Google Sheet and then also in class which zone you're going to do, or sorry, which set of points you're going to do in which zone for which year. So there's going to be, for most of you, there will be 2 sets of 50 points that you need to pull out of here. So for me, I'm going to pull that back up. For me, I have to do this twice. So I need 1942 points 1 through 50. So what I'm going to do for this one is go into here and then select column 1, or sorry, row 1 through row 50, and I press the shift key and then click again on that gray blotch, and then look, I've got all those first 50 points, again, just randomly spaced throughout my zone, selected. And then what I can do is over here, where I've got T7, I can right-click on that, and then go down to Data, and then Export Features. And what this is going to do, over on the right-hand side, our geoprocessing panel is going to come up, and this will let me export only the features that I selected to a new feature class, a new like shapefile within our geodatabase. So once this comes up, it's going to let me name this how I want, and I want this to be a fairly specific naming scheme so that we can all remember. So I'm going to pull this up. So all right, here's where we are. Select correct point set, which is what I just did. So I selected 1942 points 1 through 50, and here's what I'm going to name it. I'm going to name it PTS points underscore Z, and mine is going to be 7. It'll be different for all of you. And then the year, you can just do the last 2 digits. So I'm going to do 42. And then this is set 1, points 1 through 50. So underscore set 1. I'll pull out my geoprocessing that I just lost. Okay, input features, T7. Yes, that's the layer that I want. Output location. I don't want it in lab1.gdb. In fact, I want it in folders, documents, lab2.gdb. This is the one that we just dragged out of Splinter and put into our local drive. Output feature class, now is where I'm going to do that naming. So I'm going to go PTS underscore Z7 underscore 42 underscore set 1. Is that fair, as Jeff would say? I hope that makes sense. So that's all I need. and I'm just going to hit run. Shouldn't take very long. Okay, great. Now, let's close this table up so we can get back to our view. And let's turn off T7. And now look, we've got just those 50 points. They're the ones, you can visually confirm that they're the ones that were highlighted from before. Cool. So now you'll need to just set up Arc to check what's underneath each of these points in the imagery layer that you want. So I'm going to get rid of all of these layers that I don't want in here real quick. Get rid of T7 too for right now. And then go back to catalog. Where are we? Okay, so we need to find the 1942s. Remember, they're in Middlebury. Oh, the spinny. This is like the spinny beach ball of death, but not on a Mac. Spinny dots of death. Okay, there we go. And it's going to be in imagery. Okay, 1942 ortho underscore fin. Cool. All right. So I've got 50 points here. And there's a number of ways to do this. I'm gonna show you 2 ways to do this. The first way, you can go through and just select your points. So you go to the select tool, and then our first point is right here. I'm going to select that guy. I should be able to get, is that what I want? Yeah, okay. So if you don't have this attributes panel open on the side, what you want to do is once you're doing the selection, you can just select by clicking on the point that you want, and then click attributes to open up this side panel. And what I can do is land cover type, I can just click it in here, and let's see, that looks like a field to me. So cult field / pasture, and then you can hit apply. Boom. Now that point has inherited this new land cover type. So you can do that kind of from like, side to side or top to bottom or whatever, however you want to progress through your zone. So I'm just going to go here. This one, it's null. This one also looks like a pasture. I have a feeling this is going to be a pretty common one, especially in Zone 7. So, cult field pasture. What I can actually do is check auto apply, and that's going to make this go a bit faster, so I don't have to click apply every time. So, let's look at this point. This looks like a field also. Let's put it in. Boom. Auto apply. Let's just find one that's not field just for fun. So, remember, you can hold down C, and that'll let you drag even when you have other tools going. Okay, look at this. This is in a little patch of field. Let's click on it. Or sorry, a patch of forest. And so we're going to call this Nat Wooded. Sweet. And you would do this for, you've got to make sure you do this for all your points. And so that's one way that you can do this, is just by clicking on each one, going over here, selecting from your drop down, so on and so forth. What we can also do is right click on the points layer, open the attribute table, and then you can double click on that first point in here in that table. See what I did? I double clicked on that little gray blotch. And then it'll zoom. You can zoom in a little even. It'll just zoom to whatever spot you're at. And then from this part, you can also do that. Double click on this one. This looks like a field. This you can't really see, so you got to zoom out. Also looks like a field. This is going to be pretty common. Lots of fields in here. But make sure that as you're going and editing this, you go to the edit menu up here and hit save. Save those edits. Don't want to lose it. That would kind of stink. You don't have to do this again. Okay, so I'm not going to do it now, but I would fill in all of these points in the first file that I wanted, and I think we're going to call it there for this video.